Well, you predicted the future perfectly, and in this video I'm going to explain what I mean by that, but also how you can avoid to become a modern-day slave, just pressing the pleasure button over and over again, living a sad and empty existence, no real fun, no purpose, just pleasure. And I watched a movie a few years ago when I was a kid, and to be honest, I didn't think much of it. Like, as a kid, you're not thinking about, like, the future or deep psychological, physiological shit. But as I came across, like, this image, I was like, damn, that's reality now. We are exactly at the stage right now. We are at a stage where we have an unlimited amount of stimulation, an unlimited amount of like dopamine and pleasure without doing anything. We can just go onto TikTok, we can just press a few buttons on our phone and we instantly get rewarded, we instantly get stimulation, we instantly get pleasure. And when I'm at school, I just look around and I see everyone else on the iPads, not paying attention to class, not paying attention to the teacher, not trying to learn, but they're just watching TikTok. They're like hooked to TikTok, watching TikTok like 6 hours a day. And when I look over to the guys, they're all just playing video games, just like playing Clash of Clans on the iPad or whatever. And they're just like glued to the phone, not paying attention to the real world, not paying attention to what actually matters, which is right now and the real world. And and everyone is getting sucked into an endless amount of stimulation, junk food, porn, video games. And it makes sense because our mind is wired from an evolutionary standpoint to seek instant gratification, to seek an immediate result, because it was necessary for survival a few thousand years ago. If you walked by a bush that had like really nice looking berries, like big juicy fruit, we ate them. We ate the fruits immediately. We got like immediate result because food back then was a very scarce resource. And that's just like one example. But the big and also, I would say, evil companies took advantage of this. They took advantage of our mind is working. They designed everything from the way the buttons are placed, from the way the algorithm works to suck us into an endless amount of stimulation. They put like chemical shit into food to make us addicted to the food, to buy it more often. Like, we are the product being sold in the modern day world. And you might have heard this before, but attention is like the most valuable currency that you have. Because when you give someone your attention, you're giving me your attention right now. You're basically like creating money for me, or like creating something that I can do something else with. And all of these social media platforms, all of these video games, all of these junk food scientists and nutritionists, they are designing everything so you give them their attention, you give them their money. And you might wonder why social media is like free and why most of the foods that you're eating are not that expensive. It's because you are the product being sold and you indulge and indulge and indulge. And over a long amount of time, you give them way more back than what you're getting. That is like the secret of the modern day world. And then porn is also like hyper stimulating and unrealistic, and it triggers like these primal parts of your brain perfectly. So you get hooked, addicted, and you get this nice feeling of dopamine, but you sacrifice your future self for that. And it's completely the same with video games. Every man is like striving to have like status, to have like competitiveness, to achieve something great in life. And the video games have given us exactly that. You can just level up a character in a video game, and it's much easier than in real life. You're not experiencing pain. You just have to sit down on a chair and press some buttons on your keyboard or on a controller, and you can like level up your skill tree. But you're forgetting to level up in real life. But you might ask yourself, okay, Marlon, yeah, well, what is the problem? The problem is that all of these things that I've listed above, they will destroy your life in the long run. You maybe have some pleasure of like watching video games, doing nothing productive, and watching TikTok and just jerking off all day long right now. But if you continue to like do these bad habits, your future self is gonna suffer from that. And you know that porn and video games harm your mental health. You know that junk food is not bad and unhealthy for you. And you know that social media destroys your attention span and also like makes you unproductive and also makes your mental health worse, because you constantly see like these Photoshop models on Instagram and you compare yourself to them, and then you're like, oh, I'm such a failure, and just continue to go down into a deeper and deeper hole of sadness and depression. So let me tell you a story. I was once sitting at a dinner table with my ex-girlfriend. She was living in like a care home, and there were like people taking care of the children because she didn't have parents. And I was just like sitting there eating my food, and it was like a really delicious potato oven recipe. And the girl that took care of us, or took care of my girlfriend, I was just a guest, was very obese. Like, I'm not like just saying like obese. She was like huge, maybe like 200 kilograms. And she finished her plate. And then she was like, okay, I'm gonna get another like portion. And I was like, okay, fine. And then she said something very interesting. Listen carefully to this. She said, I want to be happy, and eating is what makes me happy. So I will continue to eat. And I was just like, yeah, I get your point. You are happy when you're eating because it gives you pleasure. But is that true happiness? is it true happiness that you have to rely on an external stimulus for yourself to be happy? You have to rely on something external. You have to do something. You have to take drugs. You have to smoke. You have to drink alcohol. You have to play video games to get like an external stimuli to feel happy. And then I was also thinking about this, and I was like, you said you want to be happy, but what about your future self? You are morbidly obese right now. You, in a few years, or even right now, you won't be able to do any sports. You won't be able to walk up the stairs. You will have back pain. You will have knee pain, and you will maybe die because of diabetes or whatever. And you are decreasing the life expectancy. Is it happiness? And I was once obese myself. Like, I can't like judge her because I was obese 3 years ago as well. But I realized all of this, and then I got myself out of that hole. But so many people are like blind to their addictions, or they're like blind to the modern day world and what it has to offer, which is most of the time bad stuff, like video games, junk food, like you get what I'm saying, right? And another thing that I realized was that my bad addictions and my bad actions, they compounded. They triggered like a negative feedback loop. So I used to be obese, and because I was obese, I used to get bullied. Because I used to get bullied, I had social anxiety. Because I had social anxiety, I never went outside and played video games and watched porn and jerked off and tried to distract myself with pleasure. Because I did that, I got even worse. I got even fatter. I got even unhealthier. I got even uglier. And the cycle continued to just spin in circles. But one day I woke up and then I realized, okay, my life is going into a very bad direction. I can't keep doing this stuff to me. I can't keep self-harming myself. I can't keep drowning in instant pleasure, but making my future self worse. And then I did the opposite. I started to trigger good feedback loops. I started to go to the gym, lose weight, and build muscle. And that did the opposite for me. It triggered a good feedback loop. And because I looked better, I got more confident. And because I got more confident, I went outside more. And because I went outside more, my social anxiety became less. And because I got outside more, I build better social skills. I met my girlfriend, and I go on a walk, which all contributes to my goal of getting healthier, leaner, and a more happier and fulfilling person. So I started to trigger positive feedback loops instead of triggering bad feedback loops. And the best part is, I don't have to rely on an external stimulus anymore. I don't have to rely on like alcohol, drugs, or whatever it might be to feel happy. I'm just happy with my circumstances, and I'm happy with being like the person that I'm right now, and being and doing the things that I do right now, like recording these videos and helping you out, which just makes me like fulfilled and proud. But now I'm going to tell you the step-by-step process on how to like get rid of instant gratification activities, how to trigger positive feedback loops, and how to destroy negative feedback loops. It all starts with your mindset and mental health, because what you think and believe about the world gets directly mirrored back into what you're doing and how you see the world. If you're thinking bad of yourself, you're doing bad stuff, and that gets reflected back into the world. I hope you understand this. So we have to like stop the self-sabotaging of like having limiting beliefs, of having negative beliefs. And I want you to do something very interesting right now, which you might never done before. And it will be hard, it will be painful, but it will improve your life. Trust me, I've done it, and you can see my progress right here. So grab a piece of paper, a pen, or something to write on. And if you don't have anything that you imagine in your head, now you probably have some like negative beliefs about yourself, like I'm not good looking, I'm addicted to porn, I'm this and this and this, and just write them down. And right next to this negative thought, you write down the opposite thought, you write down the positive thought. So instead of I'm not good looking, you write down I'm good looking. But you might think, well, Marlon, that doesn't do anything, right? Just keep watching and I will tell you exactly what it does. So if you write down the positive thought, that's not enough, because you maybe don't believe in it. So what we have to do is we have to find evidence to believe in our positive thoughts. Like again, if you're thinking you're ugly, I'm not good looking, you change that to I'm good looking, and then you create evidence, or you find evidence to support the positive thought of I'm good looking. Recall a memory of when someone said something good to you. Recall a memory of when you were proud of yourself. Recall a memory of something that's supporting the thought of I'm good looking. And if you can't think of anything, then it's time for you to create it. You create evidence to support your positive thought of I'm good looking. You can do that by going to the gym, by losing weight, by going on a walk, by trying out new sports, by martial arts, kickboxing, which I like to do, by being healthier, eating healthier, by buying new clothes, by getting a new haircut, by buying fragrance, by fixing your posture, confidence, whatever it might be. There are endless ways that you can improve yourself and to support your positive thought. And then slowly the negative thought will lose its meaning, and the positive thought will become like bigger, and like you believe in it more. And that's how you create a life that you want. That's how you like create the thoughts and the positive thoughts that you want, by finding evidence. But you first have to do the work. And a thing that I talked about in my last video is that confidence is not You're not born with confidence. Confidence is built, and negative beliefs and positive beliefs are built. You're not born with them, so you can change them. You have total control over what you think and what you do. And if you do the right things, then you will automatically think the right things. So it all starts with your mind. And the next time you get like a negative thought or like the desire to crave instant stimulation, the desire to like do something bad, just try to be mindful. Take a deep breath. Do one with me right now. And that will put you like into a present state, because we're constantly like distracted by the modern day world and the activities, and we're so overwhelmed and we have all of these things going around. We have to take like a break from everything. So meditation has never really worked for me to get mindful. So what I like to do is instead is doing the Wim Hof breathing method. You basically just take like 30 deep breaths and then you hold your breath for as long as possible. And when you're holding your breath for as long as possible, I'm saying like almost to the point where you pass out. By the way, it's painful, but it's definitely worth it. I do it every single day. You instantly get put into present survival mode, because you're not getting air, you're not getting oxygen, your body is like triggered, your body is like alert and in the moment right now, which is what we try to get by meditation all of the time. But meditation, like I said, never has worked for me, so I do the Wim Hof breathing method instead. And one thing that you have to realize is that your thoughts aren't real, your emotions aren't real, and your beliefs aren't real. It's all a construct in your mind. They're all made up in your mind. So as long as you can be mindful, you can do anything. If you get aware of your thoughts, you can say, that's not a good thought, that's not a real thought, that doesn't decide or judge who I am. That is just a thought, it's just an emotion. And if you want to get rid of your bad addictions, you have to do something called the dopamine beat. And if you want to get rid of your bad addictions, you have to do something called the dopamine detox. I've talked about this before, and I bet you've heard of it before, because it was a huge trend a few years back. And there was a reason for dopamine detoxing being a huge trend, because it worked, because it was life-changing. And you have to basically just cut out everything that puts you into zombie mode. Zombie mode is basically what I've described before, like the example from WALL-E that predicted the future perfectly, just like sitting in a wheelchair, having like a screen in front of you and eating junk food, where you're not like present, you're just like consuming. And you have to cut out all of the activities. And I know what you might be thinking, I can't cut this out, it's not as bad, I have to rely on it, whatever. No, destroy these limiting beliefs. Other people can live without porn, junk food, video games, and all of that, so you can as well. So cut out social media, cut out YouTube, Reddit, Twitch, binge-watching Netflix, video games, porn, or a combination from all of the above, or jumping around them. And the way you can do that, it's quite simple, but not obvious to many people. Just deleting the apps from your phone, blocking the distraction sites in your browser. And there's a free link of all of the distraction blockers for you to like block YouTube, block Twitter, block Instagram, whatever it might be, in the description, completely for free. Just click on it, download the extensions to your browser, or just delete the apps by yourself. And you have to remember that this process takes time. It took me over 1 year to get rid of my 6-year porn addiction, over 1 year of relapsing, of struggling, of pain, of feeling bad about myself when I relapsed. But eventually I became the person that I wanted to be, and I was able to get rid of my addiction, and now it's like the best thing ever. I'm not addicted to porn anymore. I'm doing positive things, and it was a very painful and long way, but it was definitely worth it. So just keep that in mind. And finally, I'm going to tell you how to trigger positive feedback loops. I'm going to talk about a very famous concept by James Clear. James Clear is the author of the book Atomic Habits. You might have heard of it. And I will simplify this for you so you can understand it in a very easy way. All feedback loops and all habits go through the same process. The first thing is you have a cue. So you have an event that triggers like the habit or the desire for you in your brain. And then you have a craving, the desire for a particular state or outcome. So let's say you get the thought of playing video games, then you think about playing video games and you get like excited to play video games. You get excited to like shoot someone in the head. And then you have a response, which is the third step. The thought or action you take, and then your response forms that habit. So you get the thought of playing video games, you get the desire, then you do that action and that forms a habit, and then you get the reward of doing that habit, and then it's basically just a payoff you get from your response. So we can use this to our advantage. Instead of using it for bad examples like video games, you use it for positive things. So you put the thought into your brain of, okay, I want to go to the gym. Then you try to like create a craving for yourself. You think of the like positive rewards of being confident, of being good looking, of getting girls, of being respected. And then you create a response. You go to the gym, you do what you have to do, and then if you do that for a long amount of time, hard work, consistency, and patience, you will get your reward. You will get the body that you want. And just a simple tip, you can adjust this. You can adjust like the way you're building your habits. You have to pull truths from everything, like from all angles, and then find a solution for yourself. find a solution for your experience. I can like give you the guideline. I can create like a framework for you which you can go through, but you have to create like the solution for yourself, because this is your life. You have different experiences and different like habits and desires and goals than me, so you have to create this by yourself. But if you implement everything that I've said in this video, you're fully equipped to continue or to go into the path towards greatness and to get rid of the modern day addictions, to not end up like the guy in the WALL-E movie, and you will stop to slowly destroy your life. You will be more productive, you will be working on your goals, you will actually do something meaningful, and you will contribute to humanity and to yourself and to your family. And when you look around, you will see that everyone else is still stuck inside of the WALL-E prediction, instead of instant pleasure, instant gratification, instant like getting a reward right now by destroying your future self. And then you will see what I see. People hooked to instant gratification, people hooked to things which harm them, people destroying themselves without even realizing it. But you will not end up like the 99%. So thank you for watching. If this video was beneficial to you, make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Share it to someone who needs to hear this message. You can book a free one-on-one call with me. First link in the description, where I can give you like extra value. I can give you insights into your problems and your life, because you can tell me your direct like situation, and I'm trying to help you as best as possible. I've helped over 20 people overcome their obstacles in life and improve their mental health, mindset, and productivity. Over 20 people, and you can be the next one. You can also sign up to my free newsletter, where I give you the scripts of this video and actionable steps and insights into my life if you think I'm an interesting person. So you get even more value completely for free. And thank you for watching. Please take action.